say I'm happy to be here and work for me.
If you want to pass the cookies around one more time.
Anybody?
My name is Angela. I'm supposed to say that.
You don't have to.
My name is Angela Voda,
Yo.
and I work 31 and the 32.
Okay.
Mostly either bus really, because either bus goes to Hempstead Terminal. And I live at 150 Clinton Street in Hempstead, right down the block from the terminal.
Hi, my name's Michael Bernstein. I live right here in Mineola, and I've taken many buses. Traveled all over.
Let me is you can know Jackson High account. I use nice NT and B numbers, but and I check on which air conditioner and understand.
Great. Well, thank you everybody for coming. Actually,
Now, I just have a quick question.
Yes. No.
Now, what does this mean, in-city one of the bus riders? What does that mean?
We usually use those to when we go out and talk to new people. So you don't worry about filling it out. You're technically already part of the bus riders union if you're here. Yeah. Do you want to introduce yourself?
Well, I was here last time, February 28th, I remember a couple of places.
Yeah.
I'm Antoine from Queens, but I take both Queens and buses.
That's neat.
Great.
Oh,
Where do you work?
Lawrence,
Okay.
so that's a different problem.
Good to have you. I'm going to hand out agendas so people know what we're doing as we're doing it. There's a lot that we actually are going to talk about tonight. Aaron's going to do most of the talking. I'm just going to start off with the talking. And the reason for that is Aaron is kind of transitioning into the organizer role of the Bus Riders Union. So if in the incident that anybody has a problem or something happens or you're concerned about something or you just want to kind of bring something to our attention about what's happening with the buses, you're going to want to get in touch with Aaron. You can also get in touch with me if you want, but I would eventually just put you in touch with Aaron. But so everybody, this is Aaron.
Yeah, I've spoken to all of you already.
Yeah, but we wanted to start off by just giving folks some updates on what's happened in the past month, because there's actually been a lot of attention being put on the bus system, but then also just attention being put on things that bus riders are experiencing. So two of the major issues, and you'll see it on here, one of them being the MetroCard read error glitch that's been happening. And I don't know how many folks read Newsday or look at the newspaper, but
I read Newsday.
we very recently, it was last week. Yeah, last week we got the front page of Newsday with this particular issue of the read errors. Now, how many people are familiar with what the read error problem is?
Too much.
Everybody knows what it is.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. So then clearly it's a huge problem. But yeah, we were after hearing reports from bus riders for a very long time, bringing it to the attention of the Transit Advisory Committee, bringing it to the attention of the legislators. We were finally able to get some pretty decent public acknowledgement of it and news coverage. And since we got that news coverage last week, it's been an issue that a lot of people have been talking about and have been calling us about and saying, I've been experiencing this is a huge problem. So finally we were able to bring it to public attention, and we feel pretty confident that with that, Veolia is going to do something about it, but we definitely have to keep pushing them on it, because if we don't continue to push them on the issue and continue to engage riders and get them to talk about the fact that they're still experiencing it, then they're going to try and do it as slowly as possible. But we want them to make the change as quickly as possible. Yeah.
I want something to add to that.
Yeah.
I spoke to you about it. Basically, I always have MetroCard errors, especially where I'm limited and sometimes with the regular fare. But I go to this place called 110. He was on 9th place in Queens on Hillside. There's a lady, she's very nice. She says, whatever the problem is, just get the bus number and no problem. So you can call with the
drivers.
Yeah, too many
I'll
times he's spoken with me.
just note that you're here.
Even people who don't finish their bus terminal, they send them out with it.
So you can just go to the office and she'll give you a brand new card right away?
Basically, she works behind the glass.
Oh,
And
okay.
you basically bring it to attention, she just said, just give her the bus number, because she just wants a list of how many buses experience with this problem. So
Okay.
she can rectify it.
Hello, folks.
Hello, you guys made it.
Sorry, I'm
Is
running
it just
late.
you?
Just me from
Just you
Hicksville.
tonight? All right.
Yeah.
Do you want to give your name?
Jared.
Jared.
Hey, Mike.
We were just talking about some of the stuff that have happened in the past couple of weeks.
What did I miss?
The biggest issue being the
Oh,
problems
Metro
that are
Quad,
happening
yes,
with Metro Card, yeah.
Heard about that.
Everybody knows.
Yeah, I had a problem with my Metro card as well.
Okay. So
I gotta donate $1 because
that's mostly been the big situation with the Metro cards right now, and we're actually, after I give a little bit of an update on what's happening with voter stuff, Aaron's going to tell
there
us.
you go.
No, thank you.
Jerry, I think you dropped the ball.
You got
I
the
did.
balls?
Thank you. I had walks. Can I have the cookies, please?
Yeah.
So Aaron's gonna tell us a little bit about what we've done to kind of alleviate that process and what we can continue to do and how people can get involved. But the other issue that's been brought to the public attention is around bus riders being voters. And you know, it's not uncommon for people to think that bus riders don't vote. I don't know where that stereotype or misconception came from, but we actually, You do? Okay. But Aaron actually went out for many, many weeks, and he went to the bus depots, and he talked to bus riders, and he asked them if they voted, and if they plan to vote, and how important the issue of the buses are to them when they vote. And we got a really good bucket of information that showed us that he spoke to over 300 bus riders. And we found that nearly 60% of bus riders voted. So that's more than majority of bus riders voting. And many of them were anticipating on voting this coming year when we're voting for the new county executive. We also found that the bus issue is actually a very important issue to bus riders when they vote. So we did this, and we also got this in Newsday, and we put together a report with all this information. But the reason we did this is multiple reasons. One, to kind of break down that stereotype that bus riders don't take voting seriously. But also to show elected officials, especially the county executive right now, Edward Mangano, who was the only reason really for the privatization of the buses, but to really show and kind of tell him that, you know, bus riders will be voting this year, and if you don't take the bus issue seriously, then they're not going to vote for you, which they probably won't vote for him anyway because he's just turned it into such a disaster. But we did that as another way to really show that the public cares and that the bus issue needs to be taken seriously. So those are the two big things that have happened in the past month. We still have a few things coming up which we'll talk about later, but if anyone has any questions about either of those things, we can ask that now. Otherwise, Aaron can tell us about.
I had one time a problem with my Metro card. I think it was back in August, and it said I think I had trouble on one of the buses, was the N72 I took, and it kept saying read error.
And my MetroCard does the same thing, and I keep on calling about it, and they keep on telling me that they're backed up.
Which is funny because when
I
they
called them.
interviewed Veolia, they said they only get 20 complaints a month about read error, which is impossible because I got 5 in like 3 weeks.
Good.
My question is, I read that they were kicking people off the bus.
Yeah.
Is that still an issue or is
Yeah,
it
no,
like
they will either you pay again or they kick you off. Unless you got a bus driver that knows you or is amiable, but they generally
even
will.
though this is an issue that's known?
They've been trying to push it under because another thing that I'll get to, I can also get to later, but it's those machines, like the bus machines are 20 years old. They're pushing on 20, so they're ancient, and they're owned by the MTA, not NextBus. So MTA is gone. They get very little maintenance by Veolia, and the only time they get maintenance is if they completely break down, in which they've got to transfer the machine off the bus with a quote-unquote working machine until it gets fixed. So it's a really, really flawed system, and these machines are almost as old as I am. It's not gonna work.
I miss taking one of those MTA.
You know, one thing I strongly suggest everybody to do, always keep your receipts because.
Right.
Well, we actually, alright, so
There's
things that,
evidence right there that you
yeah.
have unlimited, so that way we believe you, right?
Mhm.
This is my time and date, this is the next file.
I've gotten receipts each time from the bus terminal.
Yeah.
So some of the current projects that we're working on right now, one of them is actually a MetroCard resource guide, which we found it really ridiculous.
We have copies.
Yeah, now we have copies of
Oh,
it to
okay.
everyone. I don't need these, I've worked on this. So one of the biggest problems with the MetroCards is that you can only buy them either in the city, at Hempstead, or at certain certain LA
Certain
double R.
trains.
But you can only get a $25 one from those trains. And it
Oh.
ends up being 26 because you gotta pay the extra $1 for the fee. So what Anita and I did was we worked on a list of every vendor in Nassau County that sells MetroCards, the amount that they sell, and what bus route that they are near, alphabetized by what city that they're in. So we wanted, in order to alleviate this problem of constantly having to either go to Hempstead or go to a train station, you can go to these vendors and you can purchase a card from them, and they all sell those cards currently I checked. So that is a project that we were working on. We have finally completed. It'll be up and going on our site and everything in the next couple days. But so you all have a copy. So if you ever need
There's also a piece in there, we listed all of the county legislators' names in there, because we're really trying to ensure that bus riders have greater access to buying MetroCards. Because not everybody takes a bus route that'll stop at Hempstead Transit Center,
Right.
and therefore they can't get a MetroCard very easily. So we want to make sure that the legislators know from their constituents that they want MetroCard machines in more areas so that they can buy their MetroCard. So we have those legislators and their names in there so that you can actually call them and tell them that this is something that is important to you and that's something that you want to see coming up in many other places.
So right now, there aren't any other MetroCard machines outside of
Hempstead and the LA double R.
What about the Jamaica terminal?
So that, yeah,
Yeah, there.
I've
but
never
that's
tried
also-
the Jamaica
But
terminal.
that's also
But
in
still, that's
Queens.
kind of Queens,
That's-
yeah, by the
yeah.
Mineola.
the only,
It's an LA double R.
Oh, right.
so there are two different versions of them. You can, the one at Hempstead Bus Depot is strictly MetroCard dispensing machine, and you can get single rides, unlimited rides, weekly unlimited, monthly unlimited on that. And then you can also, those machines also exist at Jamaica, but that's also in Queens. And then the major Long Island Railroad stops like Hicksville, Mineola, Hempstead also has it. Those machines there are primarily Long Island Railroad, but there is the option to purchase a MetroCard on it, but the only MetroCard option is a $25 card. So for someone who depends on an unlimited or just wants a single ride, they can't purchase a MetroCard there.
I recently got my MetroCard in the mail
Okay.
back in mid-May
Mm-hmm.
of this year.
Yeah. Were you gonna say something?
Well, I'm still waiting for a MetroCard that's supposed to be arrived by mail since the incident happened from Columbus Day.
Oh.
And if I'm not mistaken, my 30-day limit has been wiped out because the MetroCard read error was actually write error and read error at the same time. So it actually wiped out the whole MetroCard read, and I got stranded on my way trying to get back home or something. It's just really a very bad sight for me.
How long were you stranded?
I was stranded for like God, I was stranded since goodness. When I was at the I was stranded for like about 4 or 5 days. But now it's like getting more full than that, and I tried to try and see if I get like a temporary prepaid
card.
Yeah. And now I still have my prepaid card, so I have to, to put the $250 in, and it's like you don't know what you're gonna do. I mean, I can't even get myself a full-time prepaid ride for my own, so I have to use someone else's card to get some help.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard that sometimes the MTA can take up to 60 days to return those, which is atrocious.
Some
Because people can't wait that long to get their Metro cards back, which is why it's really important, and that's why it kind of complicates the situation because it's not Veolia, it is the MTA, so it's kind of like, it's an extra step that we need to take, which is why it's so important that we're putting a lot of this attention on Veolia right now to make sure that they're getting new fare boxes, so
They
that
should.
we're not depending on the MTA for that, but we're actually depending on Veolia to fix the ones that we already have.
Because this is like, this ongoing problem all since, because everybody's having complaints about this MetroCard re-arrow problem, mostly in the old buses too. And the latest time I remember was number 1608, and I was riding the number M15 going to Roosevelt Field. And I was telling if I had to put my MetroCard in it, and it said re-arrow. And I was like, what happened? I did it 3 times, and they keep saying re-arrow all the time. And then it was like, this has got to be the MetroCard machine problem.
Yeah.
And after that, when I go to the Hempstead bus terminal, I roll the N23, and guess what? It says 250 paid, and then it says 1751 in my balance.
Yeah, so,
The issue can happen within the same time frame on different buses.
And this is not really a good sight for all customers and bus riders. And I feel like I'm the one who's been dipped in with the MetroCard errors and everything.
I had trouble with the original MetroCard back in February, and it was wiped out.
Same thing, right?
Yeah,
does anyone here use the reduced fare MetroCard?
Yes.
Yes.
I do.
So does this happen to you too? Do you get
Yes.
read errors on those also?
Oh,
I got
I
them.
don't even use my MetroCard anymore, because every time I get on the bus, it reads, read error.
Yeah, I was going to see Stephanie, we were having a meeting, and I dipped in to transfer to the bus, and it said transfer, and then read error.
Yeah.
With my card after taking my transfer.
Whoa.
Yeah, that was like the 5th time since I've been working here that I've experienced it.
I had let people know at the terminal. Same
How long
thing.
has this been an issue? Like,
It's for at least a year from when I
It's been an
gathered.
issue for,
It's just it's accelerating.
yeah,
Some of my guys at the houses had problems with their reduced fare card.
okay.
Yeah.
I just wanna, Yuki wrote down something, Yuki's also saying that he's experienced MetroCard problems on Nice Bus, but also on the New York City buses and the Beeline buses, and that, what is this one?
Green,
Long Island Railroad?
ain't that Westchester County?
Oh,
Sounds
yeah,
like
it's mostly for,
It's
oh, so
also
the
ones
Green
on-
Long Island Railroad ticket machines sell MetroCards.
yeah,
Okay,
and the airplane
and
machine.
the air train, okay.
Yeah, so another thing that we finished is we now have a MetroCard reader incident form. So we have this form that we'll hand out to all of you, and it's on our website. It basically asks you, your name, what bus you were on, what your ID, not the ID, the serial number on the MetroCard is. And you can fill it out, we'll get all the data, that way we can give another report in the upcoming months, showing them like, this is an epidemic, it's not working at all. So that's going around to everyone.
And we can go through it once everybody has a copy of it.
I also want to note that sometimes when somebody put a red MetroCard, it's also a chain reaction. I remember countless times before when I got off maybe the N31 and N32 to transfer to the N4, going the opposite way of Freeport, somebody unfortunately cut in front of me, they crossed that red arrow, and then I'm like, okay, I'll hold my car and say red arrow. I did get red arrow. Once y'all look at me, I'm like, yo, I think it's a chain reaction, so I did it again, red arrow, did it again, it worked. I'm like, listen, it's a chain reaction going on. I'm like, this is ridiculous. It's like I did back to the why it didn't say red arrow. So I put it to his attention. He still started laughing. I see what you mean. This is crazy. This is machine. They dirty.
That happens in Nassau all the time. If you're getting on a packed bus, it's just one after another. And the bus driver will just let people go at that point.
Yeah.
But has anyone ever experienced this cross boroughs? Like,
Yeah.
in Long Island, it did a read error, but in Brooklyn it didn't, or it did in Brooklyn as well,
Same
or
thing.
Queens or somewhere else.
Actually, I went to, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
Getting aggressive, sorry. Yeah,
No,
we're
this
gonna
happens every time, because when you cross, okay, right, when I cross around from one direction to here to Long Island, like, you take the N22, the N24 to Jamaica.
I've taken the N22 quite a lot.
And most of the time, when you cross that direction, you're going right to the Jamaican bus terminal, and then you try to
Yeah.
see if you get another transfer, if you go to another bus number, like for example, like a Q60, going to Manhattan, and all of a sudden, like, okay, MTA bus. Now, the MetroCard keeps saying, we error, we error, we error. And then the driver be right, did you put the card in or something? I say, he got like a judgment call or something. I'll say, wait a minute, I'm a bus rider. I put the MetroCard in. Your MetroCard machine wasn't working. And then he say, you gotta read it again, you gotta pay it again or something. And I was like, this don't make sense here. We the ones who really need a transfer excluded. It's supposed to say transfer okay. That's what it's supposed to say. In most of MetroCard, if you come from Long Island and go to another bus or something, or a train, it goes supposed to say go transfer okay. Now when it says pay $250, now what happened here? They deduct your fare out of your card. Unbelievable. But here's like one of the common sense questions. I used to ride the N23 and transfer to the N20, and this is what it say: transfer okay. And then you take the transfer on the N20, transfer okay. And guess what? Then you get take the Flushing or train, like the 7 train, transfer okay. Then you get like 2 transfer, and you're free riding the train, and you'll be fine. But the others, when you take the N22 or the N24, you take 179th Street, then it say $250 paid. Now that's I don't understand.
Why it did that?
Why they did that? Because if you're coming from another bus or something, if you had 2 buses or
Right.
something, and it's supposed to say transfer okay on the Jamaica.
Yeah, so that's something that happened to me, and I think the reason for that is it depends on the direction that the buses are going in.
Yeah, that's
So
what I
you
think.
get those transfers if you're, right, so if like, let's say I'm doing my surveying and I take the N16 in one direction, and then I get off that N16 and I get on the other N16 and I go back, I won't have a transfer there, even though technically you have to be going in, if you're going in opposing directions, like if you're going one way and then you're going in the other way, it takes the fare again. That's generally why it happens, or it could be an error, but it's really hard to, it's hard to determine. Yeah.
You know, the same thing happened to, you know what? On my way going to Jamaica at 179th Street. All right. When I get on the N40, the N41 going towards Hempstead Terminal, I put my fare, it says, I pay half fare. It'll say like 125. Hey. When I get on, let's say the N6, or the N6 Express, transfer okay. Subway, transfer okay. Now, for example, now on my way going back to where I came from, which is home, I pay 125. Then when I get on the N6, transfer okay. And then when I get to the, like say like the N40 to 41, it'll take off another $1.25. I don't know why it does that.
I don't know either.
Weird.
That is pretty strange.
But in regards to the read error, I went to the Transit Advisory Committee last month, and there was some just a regular person who was not a part of the Bus Riders Union or anything, who actually testified before me, saying that when he got a read error on his MetroCard, it stopped it from working for the subways.
Oh.
So now not only is he losing his transfer, he's just lost his card. So this is a
He's
problem
got-
that it's going to be.
And his card must be a problem.
Exactly. So it's expanding. It's you don't just you're not losing money. You're losing accessibility in and out of the city, in and out of Queens, onto Long Island.
It's true, I had a card that when I tried using the subway, it said "See agent," and I had to, I can't fill it, I can't put money on it, I can't even read it to see if there's money on it,
Yeah.
it's dead.
My housemate,
Yeah, so the thing with the Metro cards is that they're I don't know,
Richard, he had problems with his Metro card.
so Yuki just wrote sometimes
Well,
unlimited.
we were taking the M50 one time, I think. And then we had to transfer to N70 to go to the bus meeting and Hempstead building.
Yuki just wrote sometimes the unlimited Metro card holders don't know that there's an 18-minute lockout on some bus routes.
No, I see.
On
Plus-
same.
Oh, on same bus routes. Sometimes passengers with paper transfer can't can't use the bus.
On the same bus.
On the same bus, okay,
Yeah, paper trash, you can't do the same.
right, yeah.
So the next thing that we're currently working on that will be,
Let's just run through this form.
I'm sorry, forgive me.
Just so people, we have two different kinds of incident report forms. I'll pass around a different incident report. This is the one that I'm passing around right now is an incident report form that we've had for over a year at this point. And it documents anything that happens to anyone on a particular bus. So let's say you're waiting for your bus and it's 45 minutes late. Or you're waiting for your bus and it never showed up and now you have to wait an hour just to catch the next bus. Or, if you are trying to access the bus and you need to use the accessibility ramp or the lift and it's not working, you can document that. If you get on a bus and you notice that the stop announcement systems that tell you what stops the bus is at aren't working, that you can document as an incident. So we use this form as a way to make sure that the bus system is operating the way that it should be. So if you ever have a situation, and many of you have actually filled out these incident report forms, so people are using them, but if you find that anything is going wrong or something happens to you, we really encourage you to use that specific form for that. The MetroCard read error form is a little bit different, and this is something that Aaron just recently developed. We're using it as a way to, it's kind of like it's the argument against what Veolia is saying, because they're saying that they only get 20 people a month who are reporting these read error problems, when we know that it's definitely a bigger problem than that. So we created this read error report form as a way to track how many people are actually having that problem. So on it, it's really just asking folks when they had that read error, like the date that it happened to them, the bus route and the bus number that it happened on, because that way we're able to track the machine itself that's having a problem. So if we get like 20 incident report forms and 10 of them have the bus number 151500, we know that that particular bus is having a serious problem. And then we ask people what kind of MetroCard they were using, and they can just check it off. And then there's a very important number on the back of the MetroCard. It's the serial number. This is the number that helps us track what's happening with that MetroCard. It's a 10-digit number, and it's under the word expires, and it looks the same on any MetroCard. It's on the back of the card. So we're asking people to write down that particular MetroCard number, and then also to write down whether they were allowed to get on the bus or whether the bus driver asked them to pay again. Did you have to buy a brand new MetroCard in order to pay? Did you have to use a different MetroCard that you had? Or in the instance that many bus riders have, they're struggling to find change, right? So they're asking bus riders if they have change for $2.25. So that's also something that can happen. And then we ask people how often you've experienced a read error in the past 6 months to actually track how often it's actually happening. And we're just asking folks to carry this with them at all times. Have copies with you. If you see that it happens to someone else, give it to them and have them fill it out. We just want to get as many people filling this out. And we have a paper version that you can mail. And then we also have this form online on our website that people can fill out online also. And this goes for any, thank you. This goes for any MetroCard, whether it's a regular MetroCard or reduced fare, student MetroCard, whatever it is, it goes for any of them, so, yeah.
All right, so the next